You think that the average person, modern person, right, is mature enough to control their thirst for ambition and not let it distract or ruin other areas of their life? Can I give you an example? Um, when we use the term ambition, we never really talk about how it works in reality. So let's say I have an ambition, but I'm a married man. Any ambition that I have is going to put pressure on my wife, right? Last year or 22, I said, babe, I told my wife, I said, babe, I'm going to start making money on YouTube, and it's going to take a lot of hours in the lab. You may have to bathe the kids at night. I'm not going to be able to read to them. So you're going to have to read to them. I stayed in this lab and I started making money on YouTube, but that put a lot of pressure on her to only do night activities. So then it comes to a point where I was doing it so much, I never stopped to check in to say, "Hey, damn, do you need help? Is there anything that you want to do at night? I'm just in the lab every night now." So your ambition puts pressure on, let's say your spouse or your partner or whatever. And is everybody mature enough to control their ambition so they don't step on the other person or don't ruin their life? Do you think people are controlled enough or mature enough for that?
I honestly don't think it has anything to do with maturity as much as I think as it has to do with your decision making skills. Because if you know that you hadn't met a certain goal or a certain peak in your life and you decided to commit yourself to something else, it to me is almost like a lack of self discipline because you know you wanted to be somewhere else and you created an obstacle that distracted you from what your real life ambitious goals was or your passion or your pursuit of happiness was. So I feel like it has a lot more to do with self-discipline.
Well, and I'm gonna chime in real quick because I really wanted to say when I was listening to your story, I was like, you don't take any accountability. It sound you if you listening to this again, you said basically I had a goal, and because I had ambition in one goal, I was siloed. I was not able to multitask. I was not self-aware. I became less self-aware. Just because you're ambitious don't mean you lose cognitive common sense to know that you got your kids in the next room that you gotta still take care of, and you making money on YouTube. You're gonna hire a nanny or you're gonna hire some help. But common sense ain't that common, I see.
Dang, I don't know how we took that to that was a dramatization, by the way. But y'all definitely took that left.
She took it left.
When you said you didn't check in on her, that's kind of like how she got you.
Yeah, I mean, you basically said,
I checked in on her while my ambition was, bubbling, but you was like, I didn't even check in on her.
Yeah,
like,
it was a dramatization.
You
to show you how.
her though. You didn't
y'all missed the message that he was giving. He said that your ambition, i.e., his ambition, can take a toll on those around you. And he explained and fleshed out to y'all how his ambition, but it can. He didn't say that it did.
It did. It
can. You can't say that it did.
It did.
But it doesn't have
You're not
to.
listening.
Just because you're ambitious doesn't mean you can't multitask.
Well, I didn't say that it has to. I said it can. That's what he said. It did.
Ambitious people know how to multitask. They set calendars and they set reminders. I'm ambitious. I have many jobs.
Well, you telling me that something else in your life has not suffered because of your ambition?
Hold on real quick. Let me tell you, Ali, that's not true, because the two other ways that ambition is characterized is blind ambition and over ambitious. So it's people do not know. People who are blindly ambitious do not know how to control it. People who are over ambitious do put pressure on others and become dismissive, right? So that's what I'm saying. The way we talk about ambition, we just need to be aware that it can put pressure on those around you. That's all I'm saying.
And he just practically gave an example of how his ambition did do that.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is when you told the story, you lacked accountability and you self-awareness. You were just saying it like, oh, because I have ambition now that things are going to lack in the household. No, you supposed to wait. Yes, you did. You said, oh, sometimes it'll lack. And let me give you an example. And you gave the example of how your things lacked in your household, which was silly to me because as a man with ambitions and who's going to different levels in life, you have to learn how to delegate. That's the number one rule of a leader, to be able to delegate and orchestrate what's going on in your household.
Well, technically, he did delegate it. He delegated it to his wife.
You as the captain.
I mean, but that you said delegate. I'm just giving you an example. You said you need to delegate, and he delegated to his wife.
Speak for himself, Sweeney.
So
who did you delegate it to?
This is the part I'm not understanding. If I'm lacking self-awareness, how am I able to articulate to you exactly what I did?
Because when you were doing so, you lacked accountability, which means that you lack self-awareness. When I'm telling a story and I'm saying that, I became ambitious on this one thing, I'm going to say, and I lacked in this area. And I'm going to also follow up with how I repaired it. You just basically said, I put it on the wife and the wife had to figure it out, and I'm still doing it and I'm making money. Boy, you better tell me how you fixed your wife extra load you put on her.
And that's a good part. That's a good segue into it, because you did kind of say something that I guess isn't unrealistic. You said, as a man, you're supposed to. Do you know how men basically learn in a companionship, in a marriage? We got to make mistakes. Period. We got to make mistakes. So we don't just. I know people think that we were born knowing. We're not born knowing. We got to make mistakes.
Because you be in this, we be talking back and forth all night. So how did you fix it? Because you said that you put a burden on the wife. So how did you fix the mistake?
You see, that was the question you should have asked me first.
Exactly.
I'm asking now.
Exactly. That's the question.
I am self-aware enough to walk out. See, I keep a coffee cup. I love coffee.
Just to let go.
I'm self-aware enough to walk out of my office and see my wife in the game room, head in her computer, and be like, "Damn, babe, you didn't get your reports done. You can pull me out of this lab. This is not more important than you and the kids." And she said, I've been trying to hang in there for you. I know this is important to you, but I need some help. And Trigger Mike wasn't on YouTube for a long ass time, as you can see. So that's it.
So Ali, him actually telling the story was actually him being accountable, because he was able to tell the story. Maybe in the moment he could have been wrong or whatever, but to be able to tell the story, that does mean he held himself accountable.
No, because a lot of men put that pressure on their wives and think that that's just their job. And I wanted to hear how he relieved that pressure. I understand that he didn't listen. I said I wanted to hear how he relieved the pressure. You all loved these gender wars.
It's not a gender war. You gotta address things correctly.
I am
saying. No, you.
How did I not address?
All right, let me explain it then. Let me explain it. We were talking about how ambition can affect those around you. All he simply did. Yes, we were. Yes. That was literally the conversation.
I mean, we were, but I'm saying.
All right. Hold on, wait. You asked me to explain. You asked me to explain. I'm gonna explain. So we were talking about how ambition can affect those around you. That was his point. And then he proceeded to give you an example of how blind ambition can affect those around you. And he said, my blind ambition affected my wife, possibly in a negative way. Now, what he said was you should have asked that question first, which was, how did you help your... You said he didn't have any accountability.
First of all, you're not being accountable. Putting the pressure on her and not being self-aware.
Right.
Hold on, wait. I shouldn't have to tell a grown man that's sitting here saying,
"Oh my God!"
And that's the problem. And that's the problem right there, Ali. You're not listening.
You're not listening.
You're not. You're just trying to respond, and you're just trying to respond and push something.
No, I think that you're trying to be right. So you're right, sweetie.
I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to explain something.
I think that I am right. I can say what I want to say. I said
we're going to come back to this.